diagnosing people's malware.
Yeah.
And that's what
right. So you're noticing that Amy has this one mode of operation and something awakens within her where she's got to treat you like a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so all of us have malware. All of us. We all have some scars. And so the first thing is to recognize, okay, like this is where it came from. The second thing is to recognize when it arises that this is actually not me. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't deserve space in your head. Like you can't just delete it or close the program or something like that. Just recognize that when this malware activates, oddly enough, the more that you fight against it, like if you like go and you like, you know, if you Control-Alt-Delete and like end the process, the malware just like pops up again. Yeah. Like you can't just shut it off by knowing. Just understand that it's activating and then like just recognize that, okay, I'm not feeling confident right now. This is like the Amy.exe. It's going to feel a lack of confidence for a time, and that's actually okay. Because if you actually just sit with the feelings of Amy, and you're not going to... It's hard to recognize this because anytime it activates, what happens is you go to your comfort.
Yeah.
And when you go to your comfort, the process goes into the background, and then you don't actually get to like emotionally metabolize any of that negativity. So just sit with it. Try to put on a face and just recognize that, okay, on the inside, there's going to be this whole process going on. And I'm just going to keep talking like exactly what I'm doing on Twitch right now, which is internally, I'm filled with anxiety and thoughts of judgment and all of these kinds of things. But I'm just going to keep talking and play pretend. And as long as I recognize that I'm filled with anxiety, over time, the anxiety is actually going to go away.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a hard time. It's like when anxiety arises, I'm just like, shut it down. Like, end it. Like, I can't just
absolutely.
sit through it.
Right?
Like, because I think as well, it's like resistance. Like, oh, if I'm anxious, it means like I'm not doing what I should be doing, or like this is a warning sign of like stop what you're doing, like do something different, you know?
Yeah. So just recognize that your impulse is going to be to shut it down, and as best as you can, just ride it out. Okay. I want everyone to understand that like feelings like anxiety are actually like a wave. And if you just wait, the wave is going to like, it builds up, feels like it's impossible. And if you try to stop the wave, it doesn't work. But if you just leave the wave alone, it's going to like crest and then it's going to collapse all on its own. Yeah. All you have to do is just ride it out. And so when I'm talking to people who have addiction problems, we talk about this principle called urge surfing. And to recognize that an urge is going to arise to use, whether it be a video game or drugs or alcohol or marijuana or whatever. And that you don't have to resist the impulse forever. You just have to resist the urge. So just ride it.
Yeah.
Surf along top. And then over time, like that wave is going to crash on its own and then you'll be completely fine. And the more that you just practice that, like recognize you don't have to actually take a step back from anything you're doing. Just sit with the feelings that you've got. Recognize that there's an 18-year-old version of you who's alive and got really, really hurt by being yourself. Because the only thing you were is yourself.
Yeah.
And Amy fucking punished you for it.
Yeah.
And so now when you try to be yourself, like you learned, this is a learned behavior, Lucy. You learned that if you're just like a good person, someone's going to fuck you over. That people are going to hate you for it. And then you wonder, why aren't you confident? It's because in the past when you've been confident, it did not go well. The one person you cared about, your best friend, stabbed you in the back just because you were a decent human being who didn't use drugs.
Oh, dude, that's so like... It's really, I feel